Now, last time we have discussed about data analytical process, right? Or data analysis process. It's one and the same thing. We are trying to understand how we are going to explain this thing to interviewer. Okay. So there are 5 steps as we can see clearly on this slide. And we have explained it multiple times in our last session. Who want to explain how they can answer the question, what is data analytical process? Or what do you mean by data analyst? What data analyst does on day-to-day basis? Who can answer this question now? Could you all hear me? Hello? Have you worked on the homework as we discussed last time? Anybody? Okay, no problem. Let's move ahead. I believe you understood the process, or you could explain it by yourself. If you don't, please let me know. I'll explain it again, because this is one of the most frequently asked questions. So unless and until we work on these, it's difficult to move ahead, right? But as we are professional, I don't want to behind you for doing that homework. But please make sure you do the homework so that we are really good in terms of whenever we start the interviewing, mock interview type of sessions, where you might not get enough time to work around, or you might not get enough efforts to pull it around till the mock interview. So this is like proactive processing what we are talking about. So if we keep studying the homework, if we keep executing the homework on time, there will be no pile up at the end of the day. Okay, so please make sure you do write a script for a question like, what do you mean by data analysis? And these 5 steps you need to explain in your own words rather than my words, because my culture, my education, my upbringing is different than yours. So whenever you speak your answer, the interviewer must trust you rather than having somebody else words coming out of your mouth. I believe you can understand all those things. So let me move forward. Okay, here we'll try to concentrate today on Excel, and we're going to start our hands-on practice as of today in terms of how do you clean the data, how do you start the data as a presentable data in terms of charts and graph. Let's see how much we can do. Okay, so why Excel? An interviewer does ask this question in a couple of interviews. Why do you go ahead with the Excel? So there's a number of spreadsheet program, but all of them, Excel is the most widely used. As we have seen, being grown up, being started our computer education, Excel was the foremost good tool we started working with. And that's why is basically most of the time gets purchased with a new laptop, desktop, as one of the software pre-installed, as we normally call it, on a smartphone. Even on various smartphone, Microsoft Office comes with the smartphone. It's like pre-installed, you can use it, use that easy. And within that, Excel is one of the most prominent spreadsheet tool. So if somebody asks you, why do you think spreadsheet software is suitable for data analytical methods and all those things, so you should be able to give them answer like, yes, among the all spreadsheet program, Excel is one of the most prominent tool which we have used to develop our data analytical solutions for our client. And that's why we normally progressively used Excel step by step, right? People have been using Excel for last 30-35 years. Throughout this year, it has been upgraded with more and more feature. So it's a gradual evolution. The software product like Excel itself got updated quite a few times. So we started with Excel 95, and before that we have Excel 3. Then we have Excel 20, I think Excel 20, 2006, 2010, then 2013. And now we are using Excel 2021 as of the current version of Excel, whatever we use. The best part about Excel is that it can apply to many business tasks, including statistics, finance, data management, forecasting, analytical trend like trend analysis, tracking inventory, billing, and business intelligence. So these are all tasks can be performed in a simple software product called Excel. And that's why we choose to go ahead with Excel as our basic tool, basic forte in terms of data analytical policy and processes. Okay, and we have seen what do you mean by a cell, what do you mean by row, what do you mean by column, what do you mean by worksheet, and what do you mean by an Excel file. Could you tell me what do you mean by row? Can anybody answer this question?
A row is a record.
Perfect, ma'am. Very, very rightly, very correctly said. Yes, and we need to keep it on our tip of tongue. This will give you a complete confidence to your interviewer, like you know the tool, whatever you're going to use. And please make sure you reread, or you practice on these tools so that you can clearly understand how we can utilize Excel for the best possible interpretation of our data analytical tools. Okay, let me I think we do had a good look at these Excel, but let me showcase you again. And in here, we are just trying to refresh our memory in terms of how Excel can be represented as a database. So let me share my screen as an Excel. As I told you, I'm using Excel 2021. You might be using some different Excel. Don't feel worried about that. But you should know the Excel version. So here in Excel, where can I find version? I'll just say new sheet, new blank sheet. So here I, come, this is the screen. In the help, if you click on help, and if you go to the more, oh, come on. No, this is the more of this Zoom session. So give me a minute. If you click on help, and again there's a question mark called help, I'll click on that. So here this menu pops up. Okay, and here I can go to the version of Excel as well. So let me, no, it is just showing the last use function. So it's like you're contacting the support, or you can go to the file, and I believe in file, in the options, here we have different options in terms of Excel. Not Microsoft Trust Center in general also. It's really difficult. I don't know why. Let me, view. Not micro. This have templates here. Oh, I'm getting confused between these. Okay, yes, here we go. Right. So when you go to Excel, and let me share the other screen, or a web, this thing popped up when I clicked on that question mark. Now this is what they're talking about: Office 2021 and Office 365. These are the latest versions available, and I'm having the latest version 2021 on my laptop. And here they guide you what are the new things, what are the new advancement and everything. Okay, so let me take you back to the Excel. So here in Excel, oh, come on, here you need to click on this question mark. Could you see the question mark here? There's my photo, this account I'm signed off, and then this is a question mark. When I click this thing, it'll take you to the website of the Excel support, and there they'll share the latest version with me. If there's an update, they'll share the update and everything with you. Okay, let's go ahead with the Excel review again. So in the Excel, this is what the spreadsheet program looks like. So you have a ready-made table. There are columns named A, B, C, D, and so on and so forth. And there are rows which are labeled as 1, 2, 3, 4. So rows are labeled as a numeric, columns are labeled as a alphabets. And the cross section of it, it's called cell. So when I clicked on C4, that's the cell I'm talking about. It's a part of a record. Now, the fourth record and column C is basically the third type or third category of the record number 4. And so horizontal row is my record, the vertical column is my attribute, category, or type. This is a normal thought process. And last time we were created an address book, right? And this address book clearly guides us how we normally maintain the record. Could we do it records vertically? You can, but normal thumb rule in terms of standardization, in terms of best practices, we do follow horizontal row as a record, vertical column as a type or category. Does that make sense? Anybody have any questions on these as of now?
No.
Okay. Each spreadsheet, this is a sheet 1. If you click on this plus side, they will give you sheet 2. Now this is my first table, this is my second table. Or within one sheet, I can have multiple tables. This is one table and this can be my other table. Depending upon your thought process, but the basic thumb rule is I have one table per sheet. And all these sheets creates all these table create a database in a database format. So my Excel sheet is like a database. My Excel workbook is like a database. My Excel sheet is like a table. So on each and every sheet, I have a single table, which is normally referred as a intersection of records and types or category. And every sheet itself is a table. All these tables can basically make you a database. So Excel worksheet, the Excel file is basically my database. And this is how we need to remember, because we are going to use Excel as our database. Whatever file we get, we're going to use Excel as our table, a collection of record and types, and so on and so forth. So that's why Excel basics needs to be understood by everyone. Okay. So let me, go back to my presentation. This is what the Excel basics are. What we were supposed to discuss, and we had discussed earlier also. Now let's move on. Let's try to understand how I can improve my question, improve my answer in terms of how do I use Excel as a data analytical tool? Because there are these, 6-7 all attributes I have mentioned here. First, ease of use. After decades of use, and everybody who normally goes to school, colleges, they were basically either taught Excel or they learn on its own. Excel learning is not difficult. It's one of the most simplest tool to understand. It's just a spreadsheet, right? So after decades of experience using Excel, finance professionals or any other type of professional basically know this tool like a back of their hands. Asking them to drop it and adopt a new one is a tall order. So you are basically asking somebody to leave what they know and learn new things, which is difficult. The change is normally obstructed by everybody. Similarly, even in our day-to-day life, many people have been using Excel for so many years, so many decades. So we are just adopting our analytical process with the Excel, and that's the ease of use we are talking about. Then we talk about cost effectiveness. Cost effectiveness in the sense, because it's already there, you are not spending a penny on top of whatever you collected as your basics tool. So Excel consider as a basic tool. Most staunch supporters of data analysis Excel side is its price as the reason for using the new generation analytics platform are costlier when compared to Excel. For every other tool, might be Power BI, and other tools, you need to pay some certain things, unless and until, of course, you choose the open system tool. But Excel, as it normally available on each and every laptop, desktop, it's easy, it's a cost effective, so you're not spending anything additionally to learn data analytics. So that's why data analytics with the Excel is the most gradual adoption of the policy and processes to use or to evolve ourselves in terms of doing better data analysis day after day. Better ad hoc analysis. When it comes to ad hoc analysis, few tools match the effectiveness of Excel. What is ad hoc analysis? Is like one day you wake up and decided I want to be a data scientist, or I want to analyze the data available to me. And for all such scenario, you could be able to use Excel. Ad hoc means you have adopted as on move. Like whenever you're cooking lunch or dinner, you have decided I'll need a salad as well. So for salad, you just toss in some vegetable, you toss in some dressing like olive oil or some, mustard dressing, whatever available, and you just toss those salad, which is available for eating to everybody, because that's how the salads are made, right? So that's what we call ad hoc, food. You put it on the table in the, type of salad. Here, like that way, even if you start deciding to be a data analysis, one fine day, you can use tool like Excel to the best of it. And that's how it has excellent data visualization capability, even probabilitical function, mathematical function, and all those things. We're going to see this one step at a time. But the main advantage of Excel is basically better for ad hoc analysis. Worldwide use. Excel is a lingua franca for finance world. Every financial consultant, be it a stockbroker, be it a loan executive, be it a banking executive, they do use Excel for all their basic entities, for all their basic financial need. That's why every financial professional around the globe knows how to use Excel in a progressive manner. Means if they don't know, they'll learn. There are good number of tutors, good number of guidance available for Excel, even in on the internet. And that's how we can basically brace with the Excel with the latest knowledge, latest version, and so on and so forth. Interportability with other system. Many Excel users know how to use this Excel even if they have files like text file, CVS file, or any other file format which are compatible with the latest Excel. Even some CFO, Chief Financial Officer, see little reason to abandon Excel since it integrates easily with other company tool as well. So you have basically Excel import for accounting software like quick accounts, like SAP, and so on and so forth. So many ERP also support Excel as an imported data format, because as we can clearly see, every sheet is a table, multiple sheet is a database, every horizontal row is a record, vertical column is a type or category. So if you use this standardization Excel file format, you might be able to import Excel data into all these software which are available, which are being used by corporate America or corporate Canada. And that's why we normally use Excel. Retaining cost. Again, Excel is basically comes with the laptop as a new software pre-installed. Same thing with the desktop and all those things. Most of the window based system, they give Excel as a volume licensing which comes at a very little cost, and you start using Excel on the day one. And that's why the retaining cost. Some of the chief financial officer balk at the idea of abandoning Excel because of the time and money needed to retain employees on a new tool. So if you guide some executive, like we are moving from Excel to Tableau, Excel to any other tool, the employee might retaliate. So and that's a kind of additional challenge we might have in terms of using Excel in a progressive manner. So that's why Excel is a basic standard tool to be used for the data analytics. Now these are the 6 really great reasons what we can explain to the interviewer in terms of if he or she asks you a question, why Excel is really fit for data analytical processes. And that's how you can explain it with these 6 points. Hope you have understood what I am trying to explain to you. Any question or confusion on this in terms of using Excel as a data analytical tool?
So in the interview, if the interviewer asks that, what do you know about Excel in data analyst interview? So how can we answer that? Should we answer all of this, what you explained?
Yes, sir. If you can, that's the best way. But if you can't, at least 4 or 5 of these will be a great start. See, during interview, we are there to get the trust of the interviewer that you should be able to do the work, whatever allocated to you. Is that right, sir? He should,
Yes.
right? You should be able to do it. So for that, we need to explain why do we use Excel, because Excel is a prominent tool which we are going to use for a data analytical methods. And that's why we should be able to, explain. These are really easy stuff. When you started learning Excel, sir, if I may ask?
Say it one more time. Am I learning Excel?
When you started using Excel, sir?
When I start using Excel. Oh,
That's right.
10 years.
Yes, that's right. That's what I'm saying. So you know Excel, right? And you should be able to
Yeah.
explain them. You need to generate some confidence within yourself and start answering questions. That's why I say, if you build a script, if you write down what you will answer, it'll help you a long way, right? Please do write down
Yes.
questions for the repeated answers for the repetitive question, so that whenever we talking in the interview, we can talk with a full confidence and without doing ooh, and all those kind of stray word which do damage the confidence of an interviewer, believe me. And this is how progressively we learn, this is how progressively we can get better day by day, day after day, and then we crack an interview and join an organization. That's how the thing happens. Okay, so that's why continuously I keep guiding you on these interview questions, interview answer, and you have to prepare with the script and everything. Okay, any
Okay.
questions? Thank you. Any questions? Anybody else have any questions on Excel to be used as a data analytical tool? I believe we are good, right? Okay, let me move further. Give me a minute, please. Now, okay, there are certain things which we need to do in terms of getting this Excel prepared for our data analytical task. Okay, and that's also we will see. Don't worry, I'll show you how you add these add-ons, as we normally call it, in Excel. See, Excel is a basically basic product, right? Like a basic car. But if you want to go in some colder region, you might update your car with a car heater. So within car you can install an instrument called heater. So whenever you go to colder regions, you can switch on the heater and you can be comfortable while driving and all those things, right? Like that, for data analytics we need to do an add-on to this data analytical processes as far as Excel goes. Okay, but before that, let's try to understand what are the parts and pieces which we do normally use in terms of our data analysis day by day job. So data analysis is also part of business analyst, and it can be of different forms. Like we might use to learn graphs, chart, pivot tables, the trend analysis in Excel, sort the data, filter the data, creating combination of charts, graphs, summary tables, and so on and so forth. So these are the 6 most important tools available for me in Excel to do my day-to-day task. Okay, now here let's try to understand, if you want to add some statistical functions, some mathematical functions, how do you do that? Let me show it to you. Let me open my Excel again, and here we'll understand what type of better analytical tool you can use. So go to file, okay, then you go to the more and go to the options. Here I'm trying to tell you what are the add-ons you have to use in terms of adding for data analysis. Then go to data. Go to advanced, and in advanced there's option for, wait a minute, in customize ribbon. Here you can see some customized ribbons for, wait a minute, oh, come on, let me maximize this thing. I have to keep scrolling this thing. Oh sorry, go to add-ins. In Excel I'll go to file, options, and then go to add-ins. Here, come on, we'll go in we'll click on Excel add-ins. Sorry sir. Okay, and in Excel add-ins, if I go, I can see analytical tools. So choose analysis toolpath and analysis. Hello, somebody want to say something? Okay, no problem. So here, could you see my screen? Could you see
Yes.
analysis toolpath and analysis toolpath VBA? We will select both and we'll see OK. Now in the menu, if I go to data, there's a tab called data analysis have been shown here, and this is what we're going to use in our Excel to apply all these advanced formulas specifically with the analytical fraternity like statistics, regression testing, sampling, and there are a couple of these formulas we're going to use in terms of how you do the data analysis with the data analytical functionality available with the Excel. This is the similar steps you need to do for the Excel version above and beyond 2010. I'll show you again. Okay, so file, more, options. In the options, go to add-ins, go for Excel add-ins, and you can say go. And here I need to choose this top two add-ins saying analysis tool PAK, analysis tool PAK VBA, and this will give you a kind of additional statistical formulas, mathematical formula to be included in our Excel. Okay, so everybody, please do these things today. You can have a look at recording and do it. I have guided you twice. Any other anybody have any confusion on how to add in means?
I have a question that over
Please.
here, the add-ins, there is analyst tool pack, and the second one are the same, and the difference is VBA. So what is the difference? So if we can just do only one, or we have to do two?
We have to do two, sir. Okay, VBA is basically VB programming like scripting tool gets added to your Excel. We might need VB scripting tool for our advanced functionality writing. That's why I normally suggest to add these two. Does that answer your
Okay.
question, sir?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It's just curious what is the difference. It look the same to me, just VBA.
Yeah, asking question is really great thing to learn progressively. Okay, so don't worry on that part, sir. Okay, now let me close this Excel. Save changes. I don't want to save changes, right? Now let me share the presentation again. So this is what we need to do in terms of enabling our Excel for these data analytical tools, right? Okay, and then all these tasks mentioned above can be well performed using Microsoft Excel, which is a spreadsheet like tool. Excel provides several built-in mathematical and financial functions which can aid data analytics, okay, or which can aid data analysis. Let me move forward. Now let's try to use how we're going to use Excel as a Excel worksheet for the data analysis. Now this is a step-by-step process. We are going to learn analysis with Excel. So business analytics with Excel training has been designed to help initiate you to the world of analytics. For this, we use the most commonly used tools, analytical tool, Microsoft Excel or LibreOffice Worksheet. LibreOffice Worksheet is a free of cost. It's a open system, product available on the net. But we are going to use with Microsoft Excel because LibreOffice lags in some sort of a functionality as far as VBA macros and the thing goes. But let's concentrate on Microsoft Excel as of now. The training will equip you with all the concept and hard skill required to kickstart your analytical career or analytics career. If you already have some experience in the IT or any core industry, this course will quickly teach you how to understand the data and take the data-driven decisions related to your domain using Microsoft Excel. Now here, let's try to understand how we can use analysis in our day-to-day life. Let me come out of this presentation. Let me open an Excel sheet which I have prepared for. Yes. This is the one. Okay. Now, could you see the data on my screen? There are 12 records, and this is a kind of electrical consumption data analysis or the data given to me. I have kept it really small because we're going to learn how to do this thing in a step-by-step way. Do assume this is the data given to you by some, your manager or a reporting officer or a client saying, please, extract the correct data out of these things. So today we are going to learn cleaning and the data aligning processes in our data analysis. Does anybody have any question for me? Otherwise, could you please, mute yourself? Yes.
How can we get all the data? Can we get it from you so we can use it to practice?
Yeah, I'm going to share this sheet with you. Don't worry on that part. But believe me,
After class?
again, every time you work in a company, they'll give you some different data. Here, we are just
Okay.
using this sample to learn. Okay?
Yes.
Even on
So
the go ahead,
in
please.
this thing, I have one question. So
Go ahead.
normally, when we work in a company as data analyst, the data we will get from internal, or we have to collect it from other source.
Mostly the data is given to you. We discuss these things further. Mostly the data is given to you either on your laptop, desktop, or on a cloud storage, or you might have to use SQL in the very few instances. You might might have to use SQL to retrieve data from some database, and we're going to learn the SQL also, how to retrieve data from some database. Okay, so foremost, mostly the data is given to you, mostly by email or by some cloud storage like your Google Drive.
Yes.
Does that answer your question, sir?
Yes, sir.
No problem. Now here, if I want to show, if I want to understand, by observing, I can clearly understand this is electrical consumption data, and then we need to understand what type of data is there, how we can extract the actual data which is required for our processing. Here, if I do process something like, well, by observing this record, I can clearly see there's some sort of a time, there's some sort of a day, and there's some sort of a kilowatt per hour kind of scenario where it's a electrical consumption. So how many units of electricals they have consumed. Now let's start cleaning this data one by one, and I'll share this data also with you so that we can pre-process this data and try to practice the cleaning. Okay, let me do first and foremost thing, I'll create another copy of this data. So how do I do it? I can directly copy the sheet, move or copy, and I'll say copy this as a tips and tricks, create a copy, and I'll say just okay. Now what it did, it created a copy of this sheet called sheet 1, and sheet 2 is my copy. So I'll keep one thing as a safeguard, and this sheet I'm work on. So I'll say it's worksheet. I'll rename this as my working data. Okay, so this is my working data, and here there is one blank data, and this is my notes which I have created last time whenever I try to do these things. Now how do you do? Now let's say I want to pull out a data of kilowatt per hour or the electrical consumption only. So here I might say units of electricity consumed, and here what I'll do, I'll just copy these unit to this to this column. You can copy this. Anybody who can't copy, click here, double click here, then select with the mouse, say copy, and then say paste. Easy enough? Anybody have any confusion in copying a cell value from a record?
No, not the confusion, but what if we have lots of data? If there are only 12
Step by
rows,
step,
we
madam.
can
Let's
copy
not jump the
this data.
bandwagon. Let's try to understand step by step. Okay?
Okay.
Sure. UNITS. Okay, pardon me for my spelling. I think I have spelled it wrong. So I can go double click and I'll say units. Okay, now I click here, right? I copied the data, and on my keyboard I'll press Control and E. Magic, right? I'll do it again. I've kept this cell selected. How do you keep that set selected? This is the box it normally shows around. So I click here and I'll say Control E. Now Control E is a new function introduced after Excel 2010, where What it does, it matches the pattern. This is an artificial intelligence tool already included in Excel. Do write down Control E. CTRL is the key on your keyboard and E as an elephant. So when I select this column and do Control E, it basically repeats the function for me. But see, here there are some challenges. What are the challenges? See, whatever Excel I told you, please match the last unit after underscore, and then Excel did it for me. But in the last row, there's some challenge, right? There's no underscore here. So the things didn't work out right. So what I do, I'll do Control C again, and in the last column, I manually insert a underscore. So I double click, and I manually insert underscore, and I press enter. Now this record has been updated, and once again I go here and I press Control E. Now could you see the record has been correctly captured?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
go ahead, please.
I have one question on this. If it's connect to the previous question that if we have a lot of data, so how can we know that which row are error and how can we fix it?
Could you see, sir, with your eyes?
Yeah, I saw it, but now you have only 12
Observation.
data. If you have like 100 or 1,000, you need to just scroll down and look at it.
But could you observe that, sir, if the data is wrongly represented, wrongly captured?
Yes.
Yeah. Either you go to your manager, reporting officer, or client saying ki this data is too bad for me to correct. But as a data analysis, this is what do in terms of data cleaning. You need to observe with your eyes and capture the correct data out of the data given to you, because we're going to build the models on the data given to us. And this is the part and parcel of our job, to create a clean data set, to create a clean data in terms of one column, one record, and separately the visualizer should be able to understand that data. And this is what we normally call as data pattern matching. Pattern in the sense similar data matched with a similar column. Yes.
So you mean to say if I have 1,000 rows and somewhere in the 500th row or a 600th row there is incorrect data, like what we saw on the 12th row, it could not copy when we did the Control E. The whole row, the whole column was there copied because the format was different. If this happens out of 1,000 or 10,000 rows of data, in that somewhere which we cannot even notice, it was somewhere in the 600th or a 5,000th record. If this happens, and so how do I after doing the Control E2, I want to make sure that all my rows have been copied to the correct format. How would I check that?
Yes, ma'am. This is the data. You can call it data corruption or data misleading type of problem, which we to sort with a laborious task unless it's not matching. See, pattern matching is one of the technique which I've included in Excel. Excel is trying to get better day by day, and that's why we can use something like this technique with a click and Control E. So Excel tries to match a pattern. But if pattern matching is not working, you might use something like concatenation, and we'll learn that in a in a few slide. So concatenation is basically copying the nth number of character till the nth number of character from the data given to us. Now again, I'm just sharing an experience with you in terms of how you might get a data cleaning processes or data cleaning data cleaning work to you given by your client, reporting officer, and so on and so forth. So here I'm just showcasing you an example. It doesn't mean that this will come to you. Now these are the I'll say a bit of difficult examples which we might need to solve with a laborious observation. So the question what you have is basically, should I go to the 1,000 rows? Yes, because the automation is not helping you out, right? Data analytical analysis with Excel normally gets adopted where the automated tool don't help you out. or automated tool couldn't do justice to the job. So for that, we adopt a human who is intelligent, far more intelligent than machine, and they could look at such scenario like an underscore missing, or the data got corrupted, or there is some special characters, and so on and so forth. This is what we are there for. Whatever things which machines can't do, we need to adopt and we need to do. So is it going to take a time to look at all 1000 rows? Yes, definitely. And we need to basically progressively have a look at these rows and try to understand if any data conversion is correct or not. And this is what, a normal data analysis do if you can't get it done with the automation process. Does that answer your question, ma'am?
No, there's also another way. What we
Uh-huh.
could do is whole column, let it be 10,000 rows or 50,000 rows. After doing Control E, the flash fill, after I do that, I can also copy that whole column and I could search if there's any hyphen. If there is any hyphen in that
Madam,
column,
you're jumping. I'm here to guide, right, everybody?
no,
You're
that
just-
I'm
you're telling
yeah,
them the advanced things. Yeah, let's go step by step. Let's not jump, ma'am. Everybody is here.
okay.
You know,
Basically,
I know you have ample of experience in analysis, so you can tell the better way. But let me explain everybody progressively. Let's not jump, right?
Okay.
Yeah, that's a request, ma'am. Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
basically you are saying we need to do line by line review.
Yes, you can call that.
Okay. Okay.
Sometimes, yeah, the work is bit harder. You need to spend some time together to review this thing. But as Harini madam was saying, there are better way to do it. Like whatever patterns Excel have shown, we can search for any irregularities, and that way the Excel can guide you to directly the nth row where there is an irregularity or the pattern couldn't be matched or something like that, right? And we'll learn that slowly, steadily. Okay. But first of all, let's try to understand, let's try to do it the raw way, where you might go in terms of the number of rows and find out if there are any challenges, and you might apply different formula or you might apply different way to do that. And this is how we progressively get the data cleaned, get the data ready, prepared for our data analysis. Anybody have any questions as of now on these? And I've chosen these sample specifically just to showcase you how difficult or how challenging in terms of data cleaning process could be. Okay, don't take it you always get such challenges, but I want to showcase you how we can get it done progressively. And then we're going to learn the easier way to find out, the way Harini madam have said, the irregularities in our data conversion, and then we can directly jump to that row rather than going manually. But yes, let's learn progressively. Let's not jump. Okay, I know Excel is easy to, but still we need to do some sort of a manual processes which can't be executed by automation, and that's why we use Excel most of the time. Okay, does anybody have any question as of now? Okay, let me move forward.
I don't have any question, but I have a request that if we going to learn about Excel and then we will use the data like you just mentioned before, can we have the data the same like you do? So while you explain and then we can practice at the same time.
I couldn't understand your question, sir. Could you please repeat it?
Not a question, it's a request that I hope that we will have the data the same like you do while you explain, and then we can learn the way that you showcase to us.
Right. Yes, sir. I'm going to share this Excel sheet with you after the session, and you can try.
Yeah, I got it. But next time, can we have it before the class? So while you explain, then we can do it. So we can remember the same step that you teach. So we don't have to go back to the video and then look for that, and then we do it by ourselves. Sometimes we miss something, or we have some question. Then at the same time, we can ask you.
No problem.
Thank you.
Next time I'll do it before the class. Okay, so that you can work with me. That's very reasonable thing. Don't worry on that part. That's really good suggestion. Thank you. Thanks a lot for that. Okay, now let's see. Now here, what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to understand, I'm trying to do similar thing with the, let's say time. Now I want to copy this time, right? What I did, I'll click here. I've selected this, right? I have copied this. I'll say C, copy. I'll go here and I'll paste it here, right? So I'll paste. So I'm copied 9 p.m. But when I pasted 9 p.m. here, the the way 9 p.m. looks here is a bit different. So let's try to understand why it's different. When you click here, as you can see, they've converted it to a longer format for the time. This is the visualization of Excel, and this is the actual value it represented in the background as far as the actual record stored with the Excel. Okay, so this 9 p.m. they've converted it to the format like XX colon XS colon XXS. So it's a normal clock format, right? Now I click here and I'll say Control E again. Could you see the challenge here? Could you see there are lots of underscores who came your way? Could you see underscores here?
Yes.
Now for that, what I do, I'll do Control Z. So I'll revert back to my previous one. I'll do Control Z again. Control Z is basically undo the last move. Okay. So Control, press Z and release, something like that. Now what I'll do, I'll go to this 8 thing and I'll select this 8 p.m. only, wherever what I'm telling Excel, please use the pattern and ignore the underscore. Okay, so I'll do a 8 p.m. copy and I'll press 8 p.m. here, and then I'll press Control E. Wow, could you see? So these things is I have I have ignore the underscore, but now what Excel did, this 9 came as a 9 number, this 5 p.m. came as a 5 p.m. 8 p.m. but there's no space in it, right? So this is also not the right what I can say, entity for pattern matching. So what I'll do, I'll go here, I'll select 1 a.m. Control C, Control V, and I'll do Control E. No, so it's not working correctly as far as this data goes, right? So what I'll do a Control Z again. Let's go ahead with this 8 p.m. thing, which gives me the better results here. So I'll do 8 p.m. without the underscore. I'll do Control C and I'll paste it here, and I'll do Control E. Now here I'm getting the time correctly, only the overall format is wrong. So what I'll do, I'll basically apply time formatting to these things. So I'll select here, I'll right click here, and then I'll go to a, oh, come on. Then I go to a column and say format cells. Yes, somebody was saying something. Then I'll go to the time and I select a format here. So I can choose a 24-hour format like 1330. I can choose, XX colon XS colon XX with the, time. I can choose just the numbers like XX colon XX colon XX. So these give me a clear-cut idea of the timing in a 24-hour format. Now again, here we need to use our manual, understanding. We need to use our brain to choose correct format depending upon our requirement. And this is how we normally progressively learn as a human, progressively use our own pattern matching inside our brain as per our culture, as per our experience. And this is what the overall progression of data analytics will teach us, believe me. And there are some, good reporting officer, good mentor within your team, which can help you out. So whenever you join an organization, that's why Guruschools project, prefers some sort of a project support. So if you have any challenge in selecting a particular pattern, selecting a particular variable, format to your variable, we can help you at that time as well. And that's how throughout during analysis, For the first 6 months, Guru School is going to help you out in a progressive manner. Me and Prerna ma'am, we're going to help you out in a progressive manner, how you can get it done with the best possible selection scenario. And this is the overall part of handholding, part of engagement, part of learning better in a step-by-step way. Okay, let me say okay. And could you see still there are some challenges in terms of the 9 converted to the some sort of a different tactical thing. So this is not working, right? I'm telling you basically what type of errors you could make in terms of formatting this time. So for that, that's why pattern matching is a bit of trial and error type of methods. And again, whenever you go to the calculation on modeling, you might have to change these patterns accordingly. Again, as we just discussed, this is our personal art, this is our personal progression, how you can get this pattern matched accordingly. Okay, let me Control Z again, and then what I'll do, I'll do a Control Z again. Let's try to go ahead with the what you can say, no, I'll delete this as well. Let's try to go ahead with the first one, right? So here what I'll do, I'll select 9 p.m. I'll copy the 9 p.m. here, and then I do Control E. Now what I can do, I know there's an underscores in many of the other these things. So what I'll do, I can basically look for some special character. Now what are special characters? All the characters on your keyboard above your number specifically. So you have your keyboard, right? If you look at your keyboard, there's an exclamation sign over the number 1, there's a @ sign over the number 2, there's a hash sign over the number 3, and so on and so forth. This is the underscore character available there after the 0 number, right? The key between plus and equal to, there's a key called hyphen and minus. Minus is the normal arithmetical operator like this, and this is the hyphen. Oh, sorry. It's a mathematical operator. So I need to have something like exclamation mark, and then only I can give hyphen. I can give exclamation mark, and I can say this underscore. Could you see the difference between these two? Hello?
Yes.
You can see the difference between these two, right? Now there are these underscore in few of my columns. So what I'll do, I'll select the column, okay, and I'll do I'll press Control F. When I press Control F, there's a find and replace window pop up. Could you see find and replace window here?
Yes.
Okay, now I'll do it the easier way. Whenever you select column, and I'll go to home, in the home, this find and replace, this is copy paste, style, sales, editing, clear, or I can do this way, is it in the clipboard? No. Find and replace is there in insert, delete cells, format. This is summation, this is sort and filter, this is fill, this is find and select. I'll click here, and there's some find and replace. So if you click on that lens, there's a down going arrow there. Now I'm using Windows 2020 Excel 2021. You might have a different symbol, but if you use Control F, it'll give you the find and replace this dialog box open by default. Okay, so this is find and replace. In the find, what I want to find, I want to find underscore, not the hyphen. I want to find underscore, and I want to replace it with a blank. Okay, and I'll just click on replace all. So all done. They have made 5 replaces. I'll say okay, and I'll close this thing. Could you see we
One
got
question.
Hello?
One question.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Please.
We could have done this on the main row, right? Main column, right? Find and replace. That would be easier, right?
Madam, but see, what we are learning gradually extract data from a kind of disturbed data format as we have given to us, right?
Okay.
So what
Yeah.
we are doing, we are creating our database gradually one by one at a time. So our one column should have the perfect data, whatever there is in a data sheet. Could you understand that, ma'am? Very good
Okay.
question. Yeah.
Okay.
Right now, let's go ahead with the date format. This is my date, and I'm selecting this date again. Now this is again a kind of practice, right? Because you know how to do it, right? Here, I'll paste it here. Now, when you have the such hash symbol shown, it means that your column width is not sufficient for the data. So what you do, you take your mouse, you extend the column. Could you see the date format now? And I can see I can press Ctrl E again. Oh, another challenge here. So here, wow, could you look at these things? There are only 2 dates have came out of these 12 rows, right? Or 11 rows. So this is not correct. So I'll do Control Z. Sorry, I'll do Control Z. Again, I'll do Control Z. And I'll try to choose this one. Let's try to choose this date. Okay, Control C. Oh, sorry. Okay, there's a problem here. Pardon me. Okay, now I've created this sample. That's why it was giving error. Let's try with this one. Control C, Control V. I don't want this day. Sorry. Day can complicate matter. So let me get only the date. And let me try to do Control E. Fair enough, right? Means I'm at least getting the date from every day and date from every. But yes, this column I don't require anything, so I'll just extend these things so that the column can contain the complete data with us. Now this is a bit different, and this is a bit different. There are some error in terms of 24 March, I don't know why, here 19 February, and so on and so forth, right? So here, let's try to get a date extracted out of these things. So how do you extract date? I'll share this thing also. These are my notes which I have collected from my experience, like how to get the dates. Now here, in terms of date to convert to a days, I'll convert these things with a function called text. Okay, now let's try to understand how do you apply a function. Now if you can see here, there's a column E2. My current column is E2, and then I have these next tab to it, and this is what the function is all about. So fx function. So I have to how do I insert a function? I press equal to on my keyboard, just besides the backspace, and I'll type a function called text. Sorry, text. Text is my function. So here we are started to learn how to do programming in Excel. We will use couple of mathematical function in Excel as we need to process our data cleaning, data aligning, or building the correct row of data with the data given to you, right? So here I'm guiding you on multiple things. First, we learn the pattern matching in terms of Excel. Then we learn find and replace on the Excel, and now we are learning how to insert a function in Excel. Does anybody have any questions as of now? So we are progressively learn to clean the data or to extract the actual data within our data given to us. Now I'm using a bit of complex example here to teach you a couple of things together, and that's why you might find it a bit difficult. But whenever you try, you will understand how easy it is. Try 1 time, 2 time, then you could find it really easy. Now a text function, I'll start a curly brace and I'll close a curly brace. Now in text function, oh sorry. Okay, in the text function, I need to pass on some value format. And this is what the text function is all about. If I want to find a help on text function, I'll click on text and I'll press F1 on my keyboard. Could you see the F1 key on your keyboard? Could you locate F1 key on your keyboard?
Yes.
Okay, great. So that F1 key is there for help. Now, when I clicked, I'll do it again. I moved my cursor over text and I have pressed F1 on my keyboard. You can try to do that. Open your Excel, type equal to and text, and open and close curly brace. Could you do that for me? This is really great thing, because to get a help which is available for you, and this is not from internet, the help is coming from your local computer. The help is there included in Excel. Could you do it on your own? Could you open an Excel sheet?
Yes.
Yeah. So in Excel, in any cell, type equal to, then type text text, start the curly brace and end the curly brace in the same cell. You know what is cell, right? In a singular cell, I need to type equal to text, open curly brace and close curly brace. Curly brace is this. So we need to type equal to text text, open brace, close brace. Have you done that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go to text and press F1. Move your mouse to text or click your mouse to text on text and press F1. Okay, did you got this window? Help text function. Did everybody got this window?
No, sir.
Come again, ma'am. Could you able to get the window, ma'am?
No, I didn't get. I pressed equal to text, curly brace, open, close, and should I press enter?
No, ma'am, no. You have to click on the, take your mouse and click on the text, that, a letter or the word text over there.
Yeah,
Like-
nothing happened.
Okay, is the cursor blinking on the text like I have shown you
Yes,
on the
yeah.
screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you press F1, the function key, could you say F1 on the top of your keyboard row?
One, the audio is muting.
Come again, ma'am.
The sound, my volume.
Okay, you're using laptop. Okay, then you might need to, press some key like function. Fn. Is there a key written down bottom on your keyboard? Press Fn, that function key, and then press F1. So you need to press these two keys together, because F1 is a combination key on your laptop, and these things do happen in some cases. So press that function key.
I
And then,
need to figure out then.
come again, ma'am.
I need to. There is F7. For F7, there is no symbol.
No. We need to press F1. F as an function. One
I
is the
don't
number
know.
one.
I
Yeah.
think
Could
I
you
need
see
to figure
F1
out.
key there, ma'am?
Maybe she's using the MacBook. Are you using Mac or Windows?
Hello, madam. Are you using MacBook, madam?
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes. Please go ahead. Which type of computer are you using, ma'am?
I'm using Dell.
Dell. So it must be Windows PC, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Now on your keyboard, could you see F1? It's a single, this thing, button there. Could you see that, ma'am?
I see F1 with speaker and cross. F2 with speaker. F3 is speaker with more volume.
Right. Now, yes, I got an idea. But could you see any, any key on your bottom row of your keyboard now? This is on your top row, right?
Yeah, FN. I see FN.
So press Fn with your thumb and press F1, the button F1 with your first finger. Could you do that, ma'am?
Yeah.
Could you see the help window? It might pop up rather than opening as a separate window like in my scenario. Is
So
something...
should I simultaneously both of them?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, nothing is happening.
What to do? What to do? Okay.
But when I press enter,
Mhm.
showing the way it showed to you, okay, and help. There is a problem with this formula now, not trying to type a formula, all that. You got a dialog box, right, before?
Okay.
So it shows that and okay and help. Should I
Okay,
press
press
help?
on help. Help, ma'am.
Okay.
Could you see a help dialog box or a pop-up window or something like whatever you can see on my screen, ma'am? You should get a detail of text function. Go ahead. Go ahead, please.
No, I didn't get some like yours. It opened a new window, and in that, how to avoid broken formulas, all that explanation. It's showing all that explanation.
Okay. Could you see a window like this lens window? This is what we call search on help. Okay. Type text text there.
Okay.
And press enter.
Yeah. It's saying text function Microsoft support.
Perfect. Perfect, ma'am. Yeah, this is what we are looking for. Everybody else do got this text help? So in your computer, ma'am, the help is independent software installed, and this way you need to go to that help software, or it opens that help software whenever you press F1. For me, it's already included in the same view. It's just issue of configuration, right? If you know anybody who do computer installation and all those things, please request him to get this help attached with your Microsoft Office, so that it can be opened in the same view. It's a configuration. Don't worry. It's the same thing. Only somebody have told Windows to operate, operate that software as a separate entity. Okay.
Okay.
So don't worry on that part. You're going to see the same content. Okay. Please don't worry. Anybody else have any problem in looking help? You all can see the help menu.
Yes.
Great. Now here, if you can scroll down, you can move this thing, separate like ma'am have. Now, ma'am, could you see this is a separate pop-up for me? I can move it around, separate window, right? Now here, I can see the help of a text function. So text function lets you change the way a number appears by applying formatting to it with format codes. It used in situation where you want to display the numbers in a more readable format, or you want to combine the numbers with a text or symbol. Now this text is basically a function will normally convert your numbers to text, which makes it difficult to refer in later, because all these numbers, as we can see on our date scenario. Okay. Okay, still it's giving me error on that stuff. I'll just remove these things. Okay, let me read it completely and then we'll perform on our Excel sheet. So the text function will convert numbers to text, which may be difficult to refer it later. For calculation, it's best to keep your original value in one cell and then use the text function in another. Then if you need to build other formulas, always reference to the original value and not the text function result. So this text function is a kind of derived format we are deriving from the original column. Okay, I'll close this text function here. This is my data, and from the data I need to basically look at the let's say day of the week. So how do I do it? So I'll say text text, and I'm processing this on this cell. So that's a D2, second row, D column. So D2 comma, here I need to press DDD, and I'll say parenthesis close and press enter. This give me error. Name means it has some sort of a problem. Okay, so invalid name error. Okay, if you click on help in this error, again that help thing will come. So here it says either I need to use county for some different function. So my function is a error, so I'll close this thing. So what I'll do, I'll try to run this thing on the next cell first. Okay, so equal to text text this thing, then I'll select this cell and I'll comma, I'll say DDD, and I'll close this thing and say enter. Again I'm getting the same error, so I'm doing something wrong. So how do I do it? I'll check my homework, I'll check my this thing. Oh, I need to have the DDD into inverted comma. Okay, and we'll build such text references one by one, right? Or some function references one by one. So I'll go to again working data. So I'll delete this thing. I'll say equal to text text curly brace starts. I'll select the cell comma into inverted comma DDD into inverted comma again, and I'll close the curly brace and press enter. So 1st August 22 was Monday. Now let me do a control E over here. Control is not work on these functions. So what I'll do, I'll basically write the same function. So how do I write? I'll just copy these things and I'll write it over here, paste it over here. Sorry, come on. Okay, I'll do a copy. Let me try to do a copy here and let me try to paste it here. But see, it's not working correctly. So there's something wrong with the data. I have applied the same function here, right? So there's something wrong with the data. So I might have to delete this repeated scenario here. Again, I'll do find and replace. And as this is a smaller data, I can just basically try to make it correct. So if you can see, the date here is looking as 1, there's a minus or hyphen 08 hyphen 2022. So my 8 is my month. Okay, I am using an Indian Excel. So Excel licensed in India. In your computer, it might look like 08 hyphen 1 01 hyphen 2022 because that's the American format of date. But when I click here, it show me these things, which is not right because the data is skewed up. So I'm looking for just the 24 March here. So I can just do a find and replace on this, or I can just delete this and then try. Yes, it works here. So the data is corrupted in scenario 24th March 22 was a Tuesday, a Thursday rather. Here they have written it Monday. Now what I'll do, I'll basically communicate with the a person who have shared this data with me, saying the data is being either corrupted or basically not in a correct scenario here. When I choose the data, the date looks to me here as a 24/0/22, but it's actually a Thursday rather than as it mentioned on the database as a Monday. So what should I choose? And this type of query do come whenever you work in a real life. And this type of query only makes the human as a need to the data analytical processes. Believe me, on the data analyst, we also have data scientists, which are kind of scientists who work on the data given and they try to process this data on a more scientific way rather than a kind of find and replace and applying a function type of way. So here we need to understand, we need to check out the correctness or truthful of our data with the either manager or a client or your reporting officer, whoever given your data. So there's a kind of manual intervention also sometimes need to be applied to the given data, and that's why we human are kind of in a demand of applying this data analysis in a manual progression in a step-by-step way. Not always you can apply all the automated scenario and get the data, whatever you can be processing. Now again, do we have to do with each and every row? No, these are very far and few type of errors could be there in a data given to you. And so for that data, to make sure whatever you need to process in terms of correct data or how do you correct the data, the rules might be given to you or might have to be checked, and the other person, the client, the reporting officer or your manager can give you a rules of set of correcting this data. And this is how we basically keep progressing in terms of data analytical basic steps. Does anybody have any challenge? Have you understood how to correct data manually as well? Any questions so far? Hello? Could you hear me?
Yes.
So this is the basically a bit of manual, a bit of automated process. We need to work to gather the actual analysis in terms of extracting the data from the data given to you, right? And this is how we basically cope up with this thing, right? And slowly, steadily, I can just pull this down to make sure it's get applied to the previous cells. Now there are 3-4 such rows which are still a kind of repetitive and needs to be corrected here. So we are looking at here this way, and I can delete these things. Similarly over here also, oh, this one again I am correcting the data manually. If they have given you some sort of a rule book, we need to follow that. Or here now we have corrected the data, so we have correct data and we have correct day of the week. So how do you find a day of the week? By applying this function called text. Okay, now let me repeat how we have reached to this level of identifying the unit, the time and the date. Okay, first of all, what we do, we've selected the actual unit which are in a pretty much standard format. Okay, so what I do, I selected a unit, I have paste it here, and then I have applied Control E. Okay, this Control E basically created a repeated list of pattern matching for me from that data. So whatever, how many row you have on your actual source data can be replicated with a part of that data in our selected column as in units. This can be my time, and this can be my date, and this can be my day of week. Yes, anybody have any question for me? Now I can copy this format with this brush, right? This is format painter, and I'll select this thing over here, and I'll make them middle, I'll make them bold, and this is what my header row is all about. Okay, now alignment, you can choose whatever you want. Date, I can select this column, I'll do center so that everything is center and I'm not confused with either of the other columns, right? And this is the way I normally format my data or model my data progressively. And here what I can do, I can clearly see how this data, which is kind of not so readable to the humans, now seems to be a readable data here where I can process my analysis. This is what all cleaning process you have to do. There are some automated process. If you can get your data converted by an automation, well and good. 99% of time, the data has to be cleaned automatically. And there is normally 1 or 2 exceptional scenario. And there could be some rules given to you in terms of, should we delete the data not so correctly format, or should we update the data manually to correct it to the right format? Again, these type of instructions will be given to you whenever the data is given to you. Does that make sense to you, sir, madam?
Sir, this can be done by splitting the cells also, right?
Yes, ma'am. You can use
As the first step, the first column, if the splitting is done, then accordingly in separate column,
but ma'am, when
whatever
you
needs to be
split the
done.
column, yeah, when you split the column, the special symbols like underscore and all has to be deleted, right? So for that, you might to basically what you can say, that can also be way. Let me do one thing. Let me give you a chance and do that thing. And let's try to discuss the challenges what you faced in our next session. Take it as a homework. Very rightly suggestion. Okay. Then if I want to suggest how to do split of column, so how I'll do, I'll press F1 anywhere. With F1 function F1, and here I'll talk about what the heck, something went wrong. These things do happen sometimes. Please check your network connection. Yeah. I'm already connected to the network. I don't know why. Help. I know there's something wrong. Okay. If I want to search for split cell, right? Like Madam has said, what I'll do, either I'll go to YouTube, I'll go to Google, or let's go to Google first. Okay. Let me stop this share, start the share. I'll go to my web page. Where is my web page? Not here. Yes, here I've started a new thing. SPLIT, split cell in Excel. Okay, now here, how do you do that in a table? Click the cell you want to split, click on the layout tab. I'm just guiding you, madam, how we can do it. Okay, so I'll go here, I'll go to Excel again, I'll select the cell and go to the layout tab, page layout tab. Okay, and then I'll again go to the this thing, in the merge, click split cell. Now in the merge, if I click split cell, in the merge category, where's the merge? Is in the data. I think I have merged over here. No, cell style, come on. In the self format, I have insert delete format, and then oh man, is it in the insert?
Sir, if you like select the full column and right click, it might appear like format
Okay,
cells and
I have selected a cell and I'll say right click here. Let's try it out. Okay, let me see, select column. Okay, let me select the column completely. Right click. I couldn't find a merge. I don't know why.
You could go to the format cells and you could do
yeah,
that.
it's in format cells, right? Yeah.
Format cell. In the home.
No, if you do the right click and go to the
Good. Yeah, leg him. Select this thing, right click, and there's a format cell. Okay. Fill protection, number, alignment, merge cell. Okay. And I want to split cell, right? But there's no splitting of cell here. Fill protection, no. I couldn't see the wrap text spring. There's no merge here. I've seen merge somewhere. Why it's not there in the place layout format? Size, break, print area. I've seen merge many times. Let's see. If I select, if I select these two column and I go to home, there's somewhere merge here. Seen that. Not here. No, I still couldn't find the merge here. No. Okay, give me a minute, please. Let me go to my Google again. Split data, yes. And let me check out. This is 19, right? And this is a YouTube. Okay. Oh, come on. I'll open the new tab as well. Here. No, I don't want the portals right now.
So one thing that you could do is
Uh-huh.
so that whole column A has to be split into 5 different columns, right?
Okay.
So you can select the whole column A
Uh-huh.
and you can go to the data and there is something called text to columns and you can split by using the space as a delimiter. So every single
This one. Text to columns. Split a single cell text into multiple columns. But
whenever it sees a delimiter as a space, it will cut off and it will put it in the next column. So if you see the underscore 5 AM will be in one column, and then when you see a space, and then the next one will be in the next column. It will be split like that.
Okay, let me try to these things. Delimited by space, right? Okay. Delimited by space, so I'll say next. Tab or space, as you say, let's select space as a text qualifier. So now it's splitting in these things, okay? And let me say next, and let me say finish. Oh, okay, I need to copy that sheet first. Okay, let me make another copy of these sheets and then apply. Let me do one thing. Let me work on this on your own. Okay, this is not for everybody. Whoever have worked with Excel, they can work on this. Right now, here what we are doing, we are applying some advanced Excel formula, and here we are converting this format to a text with some delimiter. Okay, like this, whatever they've shown in these options. You're seeing my Excel, right?
No, sir, we see some YouTube.
Oh, sorry. Stop share. Do share the Excel. What I did, I have created another sheet from the sheet from that data. So here's the data which is given to me. Now I'm trying to create a split these cell data from the text to column type of functionality available in the text. Now here what we do, you are disintegrating your text based on a delimiter. Delimiter in the sense whatever character is being repeated in that text. Okay, let me apply these things. Now as you can see, it's a convert to text column wizard, and there are 3 steps there. So what it says, the text has to be separated as shown here. Characters such as comma or table separate each field. Okay, now fixed width, you can have 2 characters per column, 3 characters per column, but we want to go it with the delimited such as a space. Now I'll say next. Here I'm using tab. Specifically I am using just the tab, just the space, but I could use tab as well depending upon the spaces available here. So here I've choose tab, and the text qualifier is basically let it be star. Star means generate this thing, and this is how the data will be separated. Could you see down below? They've separated that data as there, and I'll say next, and I'll say finish. Now here again, they have separated the data into so many columns, but again on each and every column I need to process these things. Now see, there are still good number of challenges. Okay, what I would really like you to do, try it on your own, and there are some permutation combination, and this is why there are good number of processes couldn't be automated. And yes, this is a good option suggested by madam, which can be used. But here I believe, according to me as an artist, this is more complicated than what we did. Okay, so please do try these methods, the way we could clean the data given to you, right? So let me do one thing. Let me share this data with you, and let's get sync up on these things. Which method you can find the best and the easiest? I've shown you a method, and this is another method you can show, and you can have a good idea of how to look at this functionality. If you couldn't understand, we can try this thing out in a next session again. Believe me, this is the one of the most crucial thing we do as a data analysis on a day in day out basis. Okay, rather than doing magic, let's learn it the raw way. Let's learn it the basic way, how we can achieve analysis in a progressive manner. Does anybody have any questions as of now? This is more simpler way, right, to extract data out of that data, the data I have given to you, right? I'll basically share this what you can say this data again with you. Please try to process in these two different way and try to find out which is the easiest you can come across. Does that make sense to you? Anybody have any confusion, questions for me?
No.
We are good, right? So let me share this with you. Again, this is not end of the world. We'll learn this thing progressively, step by step, again in our next session. But choose your weekend to have a look at this recording and then try to do it on your own. If you can do it on your own, this is the best thing. This is how we clean the data actually on job whenever we start working in a corporate America or Canada in terms of data analysis to clean the data. Okay, there are few such complex steps. Believe me, it's really easy. But here we are learning for the first time, so you might find it a bit difficult. As you know, Harni ma'am, who have worked on data, she can guide you much more, different way to do that thing. Believe me, and there are good number of different way to do that thing. Okay, so please have a look at this thing, and let me give you some, YouTube video also, which can guide you how we can use these different ways and means to get this thing done. Okay, so let's stop here. Pardon me, I have taken 5 minutes more of your time today. Okay, but I hope you understood how we can clean the data and why we can't automate each and every process in the world. There is a manual intervention required. There's a manual help required to clean the data in a progressive manner. Okay, so let me stop here. Let's meet again on Monday, and let's try to do this cleaning process again. If you can do it, well and good. Any one of you can showcase us as well. Okay, any questions as of now? Could you able to hear me?
No.
Yeah, okay, no problem. Chalo then. Thank you, thanks a lot for your time. Have a good night. Bye bye.
Excuse me, Ravindraji.
Yeah, please go ahead, ma'am.
You sent us the email and sent us the Excel spreadsheet with previous recordings and interview questions and everything. But unfortunately, I couldn't open the previous recordings.
Okay, let me open that, what you can say, let me open that sheet for you, ma'am. Give me a minute. Okay. Okay, let me share this Google with you so that, I'm going to Google Drive. I have not sent the sheet with you, ma'am. It's there on the central database. So let's open this data analysis recording. This is the thing which you are talking about, ma'am?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't open this.
Which one? This
Any
one.
of this. This one, yeah, October 10th. I could only open the latest one, which was in January.
Okay, I have to copy this. There's a password and link in a one,
Right. I did that too. I copied the link and opened it in a different.
No, what I normally do, I'll paste it in my notepad. Okay, so there's a passcode and the link. Then I'll select this link before inverted comma, I'll copy this and I'll basically open this thing in my browser. Let me open that thing in my browser. In my browser, I'll paste this thing. Could you see? And
Yeah.
I'll press enter. I know it's a long link. Now it says passcode required. So I'll go back to my, notepad and I'll copy the password from there. I don't have to copy the inverted comma, madam. Okay. And here I'm pasting the password. The passcode cannot be seen to you and watch recording. Now
Okay, I'll
it
try
takes
it
a minute.
again with Notepad.
It's take, okay, I'll show you it again, ma'am. It says waiting. Now this is the recording I can play, ma'am. Okay.
Okay.
Now let me explain that process again, right? So I'll close this thing. Okay. Well, what could you see my Google Sheet, ma'am?
Yeah.
I've selected this cell. I right click. I say copy. Okay. Then I gone to the notepad. Okay. Could you see the notepad, ma'am?
Yeah.
I'll delete the previous copy thing and I'll say paste here. Now this pasting, there are inverted commas at the end and the start. Could you see that, ma'am?
Yes. Yes.
I'll delete these things. I'll also delete these things. Okay. And then I'll
Right.
select this link, ma'am. Link till the end means this 2 number is also a
Right.
part of link. And I'll copy
Right.
this. Okay. And then password. There's no, this space need not to be copied. So I'll copy from this $sign to the dot sign.
Okay.
Password is, where many people do, ignore that dot sign as well. The dot is a part and parcel of the.
Most likely because of that.
Yes, ma'am. Don't worry. Don't
Okay.
worry. Okay. Please
Okay.
try these
Okay.
things.
I'll try it again. I'll try
Sure,
it
ma'am.
again, sir.
No problem. And do let me know if you can't. We'll find a way.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Have a great weekend. Bye bye.
Thank you. And you too have a great weekend.
Thank you, madam. Bye bye. Take care.
Bye. Good night.
Good night.